Before I begin, I'd just like to say that I'm really thankful to be associated with my brother John Lewis. I have had more comments made to me about coming to this conference than anything I have ever been associated with. And I understand that because I used to be in an old mindset, somewhat fearful and somewhat maybe concerned about being guilty by association. This guy's really weird.
Amen.
But I have no problem whatsoever associating with anyone. I would have no problem working among the Buddhists or the Hindus, or it just makes no difference, because I discovered a long time ago that all of us, unless you've had a clear, precise revelation of the Christ within you, you're lost. No matter if you're in a Hindu temple or a Baptist church or a Pentecostal church or a Catholic church, if you have no revelation of the reality of Christ within you, you are lost. And what we are discovering in these days, and it's the most wonderful discovery one can make, and that is that we are everything that God is.
Yes, amen.
Everything that God is. You see, within our being, within our consciousness, there is all of God. Everything, I would say that again, everything that God is, we are. Yet, we are not all of God. There is the El Elyon, the Most High God.
Yes.
And so many people are fearful today when we begin to say that we are God. Yet if you never have a clear revelation and an understanding that you are God, you will always be lost in what I call a mistaken identity.
Yes.
You see, if you take a cup and go to the ocean and scoop up a cup of water, in that water is all of the substance, all the elements, everything that the ocean is in that cup.
That's right.
Yet you couldn't say that cup is all of the ocean. And I believe that's simply the revelation that God is bringing to his people today, is that we are everything that he is.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen.
We lack absolutely nothing whatsoever of the essence, the substance, the expression of God. Oh, can you imagine? You know, I used to try to imagine this before I experienced this. I knew the truth of some of these things many, many years ago. And I used to lay in my bed at night and wonder what it would be like to be someone like the Apostle Paul, or perhaps Peter, or those who literally turned the known world upside down in the early days of Christianity. Yet that is exactly what God has sent us here to do. But all of us have come into this darkened world picking up an identity that is separated and alienated from God. And we are taught from birth that we are simply human beings, that we have been born in a fallen, sinful state, that we're sinners by nature, And so we literally pick up that identity, and I'm so thankful what has been shared here already, because we know that, for instance, the scriptures say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And you cannot get away from that truth. So as long as you think that your habits or your sin or your whatever you call that is in your life, that is what you feel is contrary to God, as long as you believe that keeps you separated and alienated from God, then that will be your experience.
Yes. Amen.
But we must realize that we have been born of an incorruptible, indestructible seed.
Yes.
And John asked me to share a little bit about that incorruptible seed today, and I don't know how far I can, what I can do with that, because sometimes I want to go in a direction, and next thing I know I'm going somewhere else. But I've really seen something in the two seeds in Scriptures. The Scriptures talks about two seeds, the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. And what I come to realize many years ago is that the seed of the serpent is the human identity. And the seed of the woman, or the seed of Christ, is our true nature and our true identity. And if you remember the parable of the sower that went forth to sow in the field, in the same field, he sowed the wheat and the tare. The wheat is Christ. That's why I say, you are, in the very essence of your being, you are everything that God is. That is the good seed. That is the indestructible, incorruptible seed that was planted in this earth at my birth. But we know that our birthing is also a sleeping. Our birthing is going into the Adamic state of a sleep that makes us unaware of our true identity. And we awake in this dense world with these dense bodies, having no clue, no understanding of who we are, why we're here, and where we came from. And that parable says that while men slept, what happened? The enemy came and sowed the tare.
Amen.
So while we came into this dense earthly realm, and while we slept, the enemy sowed the tare of our human identity.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now I know that in the religious world that we like to say that we are the weed and those ugly guys, those sinful guys, were the tare.
Come on.
And that one day God was going to come and he was going to beat up all of our enemies and take all the wheat into his barn. Not realizing that the wheat and the tare were planted in the same field.
Amen.
And so we woke up lost to our true nature and identity and believed the lie of our separation and our sinful state, and we begin to live out of that identity, and we can be nothing other than what we believe for, what we think about, and as John said last night, what we speak.